Information stored without structure is fundamentally useless in collaborative environments and costly for businesses to find and use. This makes the organizational structure of information vital to the success of being able to search, find, and access information. I'm Bob Larrabee, Director of Education with AIIM International, and this is an inside look at what we feel is a vitally important aspect of information access. In order to understand the fundamentals of access, we must first look at the base factors related to access. For most of us, browsing is usually the first option when seeking information or documents. This allows us not only to see information, but also get a strong sense of the context in which it is stored by also seeing the interrelationships through the structure in which it is stored, leaving us to assume that information stored in a folder titled Sales Contracts is in fact a series of sales contracts, or certainly information pertaining to the function of sales. As such, we now realize how browsing effectiveness is highly dependent upon content organization. The better the organizational design and tighter the taxonomic structure, the more effective we become in locating and accessing the information we seek, which then leads us to the idea that information should be shared across an enterprise. The most effective approach to sharing information is through cross-referencing and not duplication. When we cross-reference rather than duplicate, we have better control over our information assets, in that there is one single source for information, making it easier to access and also minimizing our risk in cases of discovery and disclosure. Maintaining authoritative records and information is now readily at hand, as we now have the capability to more definitively defend the authenticity, integrity, reliability, and usability of these records and information. Finally, we must consider the use of indexing and metadata not as a burdensome task, but as a concerted effort that yields results in the construct of a searchable list of references to the larger body of information, making findability and access to the information easier with a higher level of accuracy. The effectiveness of browsing is highly dependent upon a number of factors. The picture in this slide shows the large set of shelves with a lot of manila folders on it, all with tabs and information providing some structure and context that allows us to browse the shelves and ultimately find the information we seek. Browsing, whether it be on our computer or on a website, is very much tied and similar to how we browse through the files in the real world. So, the navigational structure, how we're able to navigate through something or a piece of information or a body of information, highly affects how well we can browse through it. How the folders are labeled on its top tab highly influences whether or not we're going to pull it off the shelf, and whether or not we're going to open it and see what's really inside. The same is true when we're browsing through our desktop on a computer. The location of the content is something that greatly influences how easily we can find it. In short, it really depends on how well the content is organized. Content technologies typically use virtual folders to represent different classifications, allowing for multiple paths to the same content, similar in practice to that of the physical world. Think about it. If you have a single physical file system for records, like the one you do here in this picture, that forces you to put documents into a single place. Content should really be cross-referenced, but not duplicated. Otherwise, you might end up changing one version of a document and not the other, presenting all sorts of issues with regard to which is the relevant piece of information. This could also place your organization at risk for the same reason. How would you answer the question when asked, which is the real or official piece of information? Here is an example of one record that might have multiple classifications. The document on the left is classified under HIPAA, legal, customer, as well as accounting. So it's a document that's relevant in many different ways to many different people who might be searching for it. This is something to carefully consider when establishing a classification structure and assessing the access needs of your organization. Think about this as an advantage and benefit gained as a result of proper planning. Greater control, efficiency, and effectiveness as a result of using classification of a single document or record that's accessible and available by many from a single source, rather than questionable control, inefficiency, and added risk of maintaining multiple documents in many repositories. The question you must ask is, what are the multiple ways that I can classify this information for cross-referencing in my virtual environment so that different people can access it based on their own particular needs? This is a highly intellectual thought process, but one that will benefit greatly. What are the different types of search? Search is such a broad term that really encompasses different sorts of technologies. First, there's website search. This is a system that's intended for use by individuals who are seeking content on the web that you can use internally within your own website or intranet. You can also use a website search to go beyond the enterprise and search websites outside of your particular environment. Next, there is application search, or search within a single software application. This is very common in content and records management software, providing localized search services to application users. Desktop search works like application search, only it's localized to your desktop. Enterprise search is definitely the most complex of the three that is intended for use within enterprises with very disparate repositories. Information held internally in the organization is often in a variety of formats and a variety of locations, whether that be databases, document management systems, or other repositories. Enterprise search is intended to touch all of those repositories based on a certain search term and bring back results that are specific to what the user is looking for from all of these different repositories and all transparent to the user. This is not a simple task and requires a lot of time and effort to achieve that ultimate goal. It's key to remember that the differences between these three types of search is how the content is retrieved and indexed, the breadth of the content, and the file types, as well as the cost and complexity. At this point, you're probably asking yourself, what can I do? First, look for opportunities to consolidate search technologies across related applications. Break out of those information silos as much as possible and consolidate the search experience. Provide people a means to access information in such a way that they feel like they have a single source to go to in order to find what they need. Make findability the goal, not technical consolidation. If technical consolidation doesn't facilitate findability, then it's not going to have much of a payoff. Users will judge a content application based on how well the search works, and if they feel they can't search for content within that application, their opinion of it will likely go down, as will their willingness to use it. Even within applications, search is simply not a panacea or a final answer to all of our information access needs. You still have to have what we would call good content hygiene. You need to clean up your content so that search engines can use it and understand it. Disorganized content and limited classification isn't going to get you very far. So make sure that you go through that process of organizing your content before you start using these sorts of search engines. I hope this helped enlighten you on how careful thought and planning might impact your organization's ability to access the plethora of information stored across your enterprise. And I encourage you to act now and contact AIIM or visit our website and investigate further how we can help you in your quest for control and findability of your corporate information assets. It's up to you to take control and act now. On behalf of AIIM International, I thank you for taking time to join us in this AIIM Inside Look at Information Organization and Access.